Hi, this is Gaiden, and we are playing Master Command. This came out not too long ago, maybe a week ago or something like that. And it was branded by a bunch of people online as some kind of successor to Total War Empire. And in a sense, I can see the resemblance. Time period, the fact that you can maneuver troops around, stretch your formations, but it is not Total War Empire. Not really. Just because it shared the similarity of the time period, which there are other games that do that too. Or some of the other features. Now, this is its own little animal, and not to say that it's a bad comparison. I'm not saying that. It's just that you are comparing pretty much apples to oranges. So, Total War, as far as a franchise, for most part, is about building empires. Yes, there are war. It started with Shogun, one of the. I mean, I had so much fun playing Total War Shogun. The OG one, it was just enjoyable. But of course, there were quirks with it. Shogun 2 allowed you to take some of the things that they had developed over time, such as leadership skills, which this one has, but in that one, it was more like a skill tree. Units themselves can get veterancy, which increases stat values, but it's not really that kind of game. If you look at Total War Warhammer, which is the closest you can get to Total War Empire, in the sense that you have cannons, rifles, etc., and, not to mention fantasy monsters. It is interesting that they didn't do a Total War Empire 2, since they have done Medieval 2, Shogun 2, Rome 2, etc. Because I do believe that Total War Empire was very popular. That's my understanding. Maybe it is because it has ship combat and I couldn't really get that fixed or done. I mean, with all the evolution of Total War Empire, or Total War Warhammer 1 and 2, I would assume that they could have taken so much of that and just developed that into a Total War Empire 2. Who knows? Maybe in the future. But this is not Total War Empire. This is Master Command. So why is Master Command different in the way you would play the other game? Well, time period aside, you will notice that it is more of a army simulator, in the sense that you have different empires to choose from. Not that many. Unlike me playing Total War Empire, I choose Sweden, of course. Of course. Duh. And here you have more of the big empires, or the big countries formations during this 7-year war. That's my understanding. This is going to be like 7-year war where Prussia grew into the kind of superpower they became, etc. The difference is also that this is more granular when it comes to the units themselves and their leadership. It's not just about you as the leader of your army. In this case, if you pick that guy, it's going to be whoever the boss is here. This one gets officer veterans and gain double recruitment officers. As you can see, I have unlocked at least that one, and then I need to unlock that one. This one I did full. So you have different, like you have the British Expedition, start with that, Hanoverian Corps, and then subsidy troops. And then each of these have different units set up, as you can see. So I tried all of those and unlocked most of the stuff there. And then I started with Prussia because I like guns. Now I did this one because it had artillery. And then unlocked those. I just didn't have as much fun with these guys. I would say, very frail units. No question about that. They ended up getting smacked around a lot. Unlike the British, who seems to be very solid unit that didn't constantly break. But anyway, let's just start up with this. Well, let's just do that one so you can see what an Austrian battalion artillery can do. And what they have lowered from the very beginning when it came out, they have definitely lowered the accuracy of cannons. Which kind of sucks, but maybe that's true. Maybe they were not as accurate as they are today. They just shot a big iron ball, and sometimes you also shot grape shots. And I guess you're fooled by the few contemporaneous movies that made on the time period where cannon shots seems to be super accurate, where I guess they're not. And of course, they didn't have explosive ammo or explosive cannonballs like they had later on and, of course, now. So, you don't have that. Let's just start real quick here. So I can show you some of the features, how that works, how it works in the game itself. You're going to have a choice of 3 acts. These are just choices that you do for each act. And each one will have like a positive, negative effect on some of them, like melee damage, accuracy is less. I don't necessarily want to do that, especially in the beginning where accuracy is important. That's nice. Recruitment cost is my 20% off, so that's good. And also, again, these are 2 different goals that you can reach within the act. So if you don't do them, and you go directly to the headquarters, you're not going to get the benefit of it. But here you can choose. The campaign move speed is pretty nice to have within the campaign itself. And you get the Ligny Fusiliers. I would assume that's French. The way I said it is probably not very sounding French, so I do apologize. Let's just start with that one, right? Herzog Joseph Dragons. Why not? Why not? We're just showcasing here anyway. Act 1, Bohemia. So each act has its own segment of the 7-Year War, and each have their own headquarters that you need to knock down. So this is way different from how you would see any army setup when it comes to Total War Empire. And again, I want to stress, I'm not trying to say that it can't be like it. It's just that I don't feel that it's a fair comparison, because this is more focused on a smaller area of a map, and you don't control an empire. You control an army. That's all you do. So here's your main dude, Leopold Joseph von Daun. And he has professional artillerists, and then he has multinational army. And as you can see, recruit veterans again, not that good. Not that good. And then each of the brigade that you have, you can have up to 5 of them in your army. They can have 5, what you see, regiment, companies, whatever you want to call them. I think this is regimental size when you start hitting over the thousands. And each of them can have 5 skills. And of course, they can die. So, you know, if you put those in the front line, they can die. This is actually true. So this one has artillery range 15 with artillery load speed. Every time you upgrade or you get experience enough to go up a level on your officers, you get a choice of 3 skills. And you can skip them if you want to, and then of course just continue level up a little bit. The only reason why you would skip it if it doesn't really fit any of the choices you get, doesn't really fit, the negatives don't work so well. And then you can have up to 5. So that makes it a little bit more of tailored towards the brigade that you're putting together. And you can change it to the 2nd Foot Regiment, or whatever you want to call it. that's really your choice. You can change the name of that. I think you can even... lazy. Maybe he is lazy. Who knows? And then you can change the looks of it. You can change the name of pretty much everything. Franz Mortis von Lazy. I liked it. I actually like it. And then there you have the stats here. Now, I don't think you upgrade this guy. You can dismiss him, of course, but that would not be smart. Then, of course, you also have reservist. This reserve is a little bit different from this reserves. So this is when you start taking damage and you want to replenish your troops. That's where you take that from. This is to replenish ammo from your guys here. And, of course, food and whatever little piddly dollars or gold coins or whatever you want to call it here. I'll just call it gold to begin. That's just standard currency in games. And you can move these around as however you want to. If you want to be more of standardized of the banners, you can do that too. Banners are very easily changed. You can change the flag pattern, which is this. And then you can change that. And of course you can change all the colors too. Colors of uniform and all that if you want to. And then you can save that in the case that, for example, you want to do very Swedish colors for these Austrian Fusiliers. So we would do something like that. Maybe do something like this. And we would change that color to blue, that color to yellow. A little bit deeper blue, right? Yeah, maybe. I'll stay with that. Vibrant looking. Okay. And then for emblem, we would do something like crossed artillery, because that's an artillery unit, right? And then for hat, why not do something like blue for that. That rim yellow. That collar can be red, and then they can have the white thing there. So that's fine. As far as color here, that's not very important, right? So we're going to do that, and then for that, we can do blue. For the crossed ones... Blue? What's the green stuff? Green. We want blue. That white thing, I would assume, is this belt here. Nope, that was apparently not it. Okay, that's... yeah. And then, of course, blue pants. Blue pants. Not that you can see the pants, but blue pants. There we go. So here's my guy. And then, of course, I can save that if I absolutely want to. So here's my dude. Oh, I changed that one? Oh. Oh. It wasn't even right. Okay. So he is an infanterist. So yes, let's... no, maybe... What looks really Swedish here? I'm getting just stuck in the mud here, trying to do the ideal Swedish thing. Let's just do that, okay? So here's my Swede dude. And then you can then save the pattern and just use it on all of them. So even though there's going to be a slight difference in uniform depending on where what kind of type of soldier that is, that's okay. You can finagle that all you want. And then, of course, you can change it to Swedish Fusiliers if you absolutely want. Swedish? Oh, come on. Come on, man. There you go. So that's my Swedish Fusiliers. And they're not experienced at all. When you start gaining experience, you're going to have choices. If you start with a Crownland Recruit, you can choose from all of this depending on how many experience points you have. Ranks, whatever you want to call them. So if you want to move this one over to become a cavalry unit, you can do that. Jaeger, those are more dispersed skirmishing units. They're more of a sharpshooter type. They're not really meant to be necessarily in the front line in the sense that you're going to take a lot of damage, but they are very durable. So it's a smaller unit, as you can see. You're going down to something like 600. This one would start as a 1400, right? So they're more dispersed, meant to pretty much just sharpshoot at the enemy, harder to hit, more dispersed, more difficult to knock down with something like artillery. And then if you do the normal troops, so those are the Fusiliers. And then you have options of going Grenadiers or just continue with that veteran Fusiliers. All of these then will add, as you can see, an increase in certain things. In this case, if you have here, that's speed, move speed is interesting. Why is that showing red here? Both of them are 20, aren't they? 20? 20? I don't know, man. That's weird. That's a weird artifact. Then if you go with something like the upgrade over here, you see that mostly green stuff. And if you do this one, less unit, but a little bit more of the green stuff. So more energy for stamina, so it can fight longer. A little bit better at fighting. Less units overall, but seems to have higher morale. A little bit better shooting too. So you might want to go with an Austrian Grenadier if you want to go that. Or you can go all the way to the whole cannon, artillery guys with different choices here. So that's pretty much what you can do with units. This is a fresh one. This is a good example of it. This one can be anything you want it to be. Of course, they have a tendency of running, as you can see. The morale here is 30, morale here is 40. This one's not going to take much of a spanking before it leaves. Both seems to have, oh no, they're even worse at fighting and shooting. Yeah, way worse. Which is, I mean, they're recruits, right? They're startups. Keep in mind, and I do believe this happens, is that if you take excessive amount of losses, not to the point you're necessarily breaking, but take a loss of losses and then replenishes those losses, veterancy experience goes down too. You can't go down a rank once you have upgraded to a different type of unit, but it seems to take longer for you to go up in rank because you're taking excessive damage. There are a couple of choices here. You're going to see that when I do a battle here, where there are some things where you have a choice in the end of either taking money once you defeat an enemy, take some recruits, which replenishes your losses, or you can get experience, which means you're going to have to replenish more of it from your own internal resources, but you then get more experience in the end of the battle. So that's good. And finally, let's check out equipment. If you look at this one, you have rifles and you have socket bayonets, and then you can upgrade these to be holding more equipment. What you can do is these cases, for example, you can give this one medicinal herbs, and that will casualty restoration plus 20%, attrition minus 10. So this is one way of diversifying each unit. Each unit can then have up to the max, as you can see here. And you can also get different rifles, different bayonet types, and overall a plethora of different extra things. Like, for example, of course, cannons can only go on an artillery unit. This one can go both on cavalry and infantry, as you can see from the symbol here. This one can go on anything, right? So normally I would do that for here. And we're going to buy that one, and which I didn't need to. So if you look at here and just comparison, that one is a little bit more accurate, this cannon right here, and it's a little bit faster to fire, but you also see the range is a lot better on this one, right? I'm not going to use this. I can switch over. If I put this on a unit, I can switch it over, but the max range is going to be lower. Accuracy goes way up, but max range is lower. I use this kind of special ammo on cavalry unit, so just before they charge, they fire, and having high accuracy then can just deliver a gut punch of a hit first before you get closer up and start smacking them in the face with swords. And that's pretty much it when it comes to units. So you have the officers, and when you go into town, you can find other choices of both units, resources, officers, maybe depending on the size of the town. And then as you start getting more units, and you get that from either wandering around and looking at camps and things like that, you will then have money to be able to, for example, 600 gold to unlock a third brigade. Now it's not a point to do that because you already have, as you can see, you know, open slots here. But let's say you get a cavalry unit. You want to have that as an individual leader because you happen to pull a good cavalry-like officer. There we go. Enough talking about that. So here's the pretty much open statement. These are the two things, two different goals that I need to accomplish. Reinforce 4 outposts, secure 5 battlefields. Now you can switch between them by just seeing where the closest one is from you. So let's zoom out a little bit. That way you can find where you need to go if there's one really close. And it looks like there's one up there in the corner here. That's fairly close to me. And then you can look at the battlefields too, which ones are the closest. So you have an idea how you want to move. So right now, I could technically just... Can I just... There we go. Oops. 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 So that's a fort. I don't want to do a fort. I don't think I have the guts for that. So here's your first place. Buy more food. Get more recruits. And then get more ammo. Right now, I'm fine. I don't want to waste anything on that. But here you can get more different things like covers. That's for artillery and our infantry. As you can see, this one cover base, so more cover, so you take less damage. Charge resistance is only 5. There's higher charge resistance on this one, so if infantry or cavalry decide to charge you, I'm going to be able to resist it a little bit better. These are grenade. That has a range of 75, so they will never have the range of your rifle. Never going to happen. But if you want to deliver a punch of grenades before you decide to do a charge, or let's say a cavalry is charging you and you can time it right, you throw the grenades and maybe do more damage to them so they can't really attack you, or they break, something like that. More units to go out and buy. 750. I can have another artillery battalion. I don't have that kind of money right now, but here you have and you can also look where these stand. So Grenzel recruits can be Grenzel provincial cavalry. This one can become the Grenzel fusilier. You can do sharpshooter, which again is another skirmishing unit, or you can go over to that. These ones are, as you see, and you can check, of course, in relationship, movement speed, things like that, and compare that with other units. It's always a good thing to check this out, because it's good to have an idea what type of units you do. So even if you know, there's a big difference between 400 and 725, but you definitely want to make sure that you don't buy a garbage unit that's later on is going to come and bite you in the ass. Sometimes it's better to just save up for something better. Grenzel recruits are, oof. I mean, the experience I have with them is that they will run, cut and run very quickly. Fusiliers, the Hungarian ones, are fairly decent. They are fairly decent. Town Square, this one is consumables. Well, they don't disappear, but more like a food item. Now, certain things you can have only one of. These are one of those. You can only have one of these on any of the units. So just pick the one that suits you the best. I usually do this one for cavalry. I use this one for artillery. And I use this one for infantry because I want it to be able to move up and then reload pretty quickly. Accuracy and reload is important for an artillery unit. And a quartermaster is those extra things, like a ramrod, for example, for your gunner, which is what I want to do. This one is more of a ramrod for your infantry, which just makes it more accurate. This one has morale and stamina. These ones, there are several different ones. Again, you can only have one, for example, of any of these, right? But they do different things. So just keep in mind that when you pull these ones, have an idea what you want to do with the units. You can, of course, just start throwing them on as you find them. But once you have everything unlocked and you have tons of different items, take your time to figure out what you want to do with the unit. Is that going to be a unit that's going to step up in charge? Or is it a unit that you're going to put in the best cover possibly and just unload on anything that attacks it? That one is pretty good, but there's also another one that I also add cover bonus and melee damage. So it's really good, for example, when you get charged, because now your unit is, you know, kicking ass back. I'm just going to do the ramrod because that will help my guy. So let's take a look at here and add it here. So reload time, very important, especially with artillery. And there you have it. So this is the basics. Resource places, unit build up, adding better units, things like that. So let's go ahead and look for action. Right now I'm just going to pick up some resources here and there as I wait. Wandering around on the map. That's so funny, it changed to that uniform of that guy. 40 top. I really have 110 ammo. Even if I have to fight, dude. A weak detachment? Yeah, that's fairly weak. It does have cavalry, and I don't. But let's find out. So here's the second part of the game itself, which is battles, right? And that is where you are probably going to see the closest. That's a different map. So we are going to start very much closer to here. Yes. So what you will notice is that with this particular game, it is somewhat similar to when you get to this point of Total War Empire. Because you can just move, stretch, do things like that. And you do have some functionality of different things you can turn on and off. Like in this case, you have volley fire, or you can turn it off and just fire whenever they load it. That is somewhat similar to how you can do in Total War Empire. Plus, with Total War Empire, you have more of a like a technology system where you have to unlock certain things like rank fire, move and shoot, kind of fire, segmented fire, etc. And that will then apply to all your army. Here, there are specific skills that can do that, like fire by segment. That's something that you have to get on the officer. The officer, the ones that trains them in that. So that's a little bit different. Does make this more tactical, of battles compared to some of the battles that you will find in Total War Empires. But it's also more intimate. You have a better feel for your units. You feel for when you lose commanders. You feel for when they break. You feel for losing a unit because it is so much more special with the equipment and everything that losing something like that is genuinely... It feels like you, I wouldn't say lose a friend, but you feel like someone that had gone through things. Whereas losing stuff in something like Total War Empire, it's just like, oh shit, I just lost an army, right? Here, when you lose units, it feels like, oh man, there goes Bob. I like Bob. You know what I mean? So let's do something here. I also noticed that rivers don't really impede anyone. And that's unfortunate because that really should be more of a barrier. Should be harder for them to do something like that. What I'm trying to do here is cordon off things. So maybe I should just go that way. That way, they're faster to move. Here we go. We are gonna set up that one. It's gonna be set up here. That one is probably our best unit, right? He can be here. And then we're gonna have one here. And then we can have one here. We're gonna use cover as much as possible here. And you can stand behind my artillery unit. Can't move him, man. He has a cavalry unit, and I don't really want to be charged. God, they're so slow to move. This is ridiculous. They're so much faster, which is also stupid. I don't really care for when units, enemies cheat in a way. Whereas my units are so slow, but their units have... I mean, those are recruits, right? Seem to have the speed. Yeah, they're gaining on me. I started moving a long time ago. And they're gaining on me. What we are going to do is unlimber these... what? What am I trying to move here? Are you... Dude. Artillery battalion. Here we go. Start firing, buddy. Here we go. Let's do a little bit more in here. He's going to go over to line. The highest fire rate. That's line. And that's line. Let's see if I can switch over. Oh. You don't have to dry hump those cannons, dude. Leopold. Go back a little bit. Jeez. A little bit gnarly. Let's see when we can switch to that. Oh, right now. He's loading up to deliver. Oh, he's waiting outside range. Because he knows that once I start... Yamukor? Let him fire there. And then I'm going to switch to that one. Because I don't really have any cavalry. And hopefully I can just slap him really silly. Come on, fire those guns. Oh, yeah. I took a slap. So the question is now, can I just help out a little bit with my boss, man. Now I'm gonna move and flank fire that guy. That's how you win. Yeah. So now we're gonna slow it down a little bit. Yeah, I'm kicking his ass. No, we're not gonna. But I am going to move him up to bolster him a little bit. Reform, dumbass. That's mid-firing. That's kind of cool. Okay, so you can start pummeling him. With, grape shots this close should really hit better. It really doesn't. Come on, grape shot. Now we're moving. And we... Are they coming back? No, I think they're pretty good. So we're just gonna send out my retinue to just pummel him so he doesn't get the idea of coming back. That way you can shatter them. That way no chance that they'll all of a sudden decide to reform. Yeah. Shattered. Nice. I did lose some guys. And unfortunately, I was dumb enough to give away some recruits. But that was my first battle against just 2 regiments, battalions, whatever they are. And I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna just go for a reservist. For now. Let's replenish everything. We could sell that one. That is not so good to have. Let's start with him. That's all good. I don't need to... I mean, I really should give... Let's buy more. Do that. I don't have any cavalry, so I don't have to worry about that. Another cannon. How nice. A 10-pounder howitzer. You think that howitzer... I do believe that howitzer were invented to lob actually exploding ammo, but they don't. So having a howitzer here is a little bit weird, in my opinion. I think that's how they worked. That howitzer were for explosive ammo. I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm just going full in on this guy. Better? Better reload time. Not better range. Oh, by a lot. Jeez. By a zillion. So you can get a better than one of those. There's some stuff for you. Oh, yeah. No question about that. Oh, that's the same shit. You can get a little bit more stamina. I have 2 cannons I can sell, unless, of course, I happen to come across another artillery dude. Yeah, let's do an encampment. Oh, I'm supposed to reinforce. I'm just dilly-dallying here. Strike under cover that's moderate likely, so... Cool, more weapons. Let's see if anything was better. No. Oh. Oh. Ew. Ew. There we go. Something to sell for sure. Austerlitz. I know that place. If you play Napoleon. What do we have here? We can sell stuff, but should we sell stuff? Because there's no way I can afford anything with this run rate of stuff. But I can sell off this. I know. I shouldn't. Yeah, I will. There you go. Light and load. Light and load. 583. Can I get something better? Those nice canister, but max range is 60%. You're not firing that stuff any close. But damage increase, wowsy. So, am I buying anything here? Quartermaster. Nothing I want to pay money for. I can afford getting that guy, Hungarian recruit. I can't afford one of those. Oh, 725. Jeez. Oh, jeez. Crownland recruit. I don't know if I want to do that again. They're not that good. So I can go with an Hungarian recruit. I don't want to do the Grensel. I mean, yeah, it's an upgraded version, and it's 800. No. No, I don't want any skirmishers. I am so debating here. I stopped debating, I guess. Okay. Let's go ahead and do another fight or two. And then we can call it a night for this video. I'm just showcasing how it works. I am going to make a video of something I have already like built up a larger unit. So it's full 5 brigades, Act 3, big juicy army. So you can see a little bit more of that. Dry ammo, garrison, 70 reservist, receive 100 army. Receive provision. Yeah, I'm going for money. So I did 1 outpost. And there's a battlefield. I really need a dramatic amount of money, don't I? Yeah, it's just too expensive. I need to win a couple of good battles so I can sell this stuff. So I got myself an officer. What kind of officer are you? Grenade throwing, reload speed. I mean, that's interesting. Can't really afford a new brigade. But I can do this. No. I can't. I'm being so dumb today. Oh, that's just so dumb. Really, really stupid. On a level of stupid here. So, no, I'm not going. That's going to be a full smacker. That's 3, I want to say stars. Well, what that really means is a reserve officer is killed. Well, easy come, easy go. Like, yes, thank you for saving me. Okay. Yes, let's fight him. Steal his shit. So we're talking about, oh lord, 4 infantry unit and 1 cavalry, and I don't even have a cavalry. Not cool, man. Not cool. I can't even afford cavalry. Now, if you started with a little bit more money, maybe you can actually afford something, but that's not the case. Oh, God, we started close. Really? That close? I guess we're going to have to fortify here. Swedish Fusiliers. I have an equal amount. The only thing he has more of is that the Hussars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can match him in infantry, but not in cavalry. We can start. Let's just do this. Just get that out of the way. So we're going to unlimber from the get-go. So we can just start shooting. That's what we want to do. We want to start shooting. What kind of cover are we looking at? 6 to 5. Not really sure that matters, to be honest. This is the boss man. So what I'm going to do with the boss man is that I'm going to set up here. Let's go ahead and move this a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a wee bit. Okay. That's what it's going to do. And we are going to have our best guy. He's going to be here. We can start right there. And he can move up and cover this area. I'm going to have 1 guy in reserve. Just so I can, in the case the cavalry decide to do something really dumb. So that's going to be reserve. Now my new that has no stuff is going to be Hungarian recruit. He can be there. And it... Why didn't you move? You're being dumb. Move here. Or I'm being dumb. And he's going to follow suit. They can cover that area here. That one is going to fire there. And you can be like, whatever. Just hanging around. Making everybody happy. And... or maybe I should just be the guy that's just hanging out here. And then that can be the guy that moves up here. That way, if he breaks, it's no big deal. We are done. Here we go. And we're moving here. Da, 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 da. Cover there. And da, 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 da. This is going to have to be here. And you can just pound away. Sounds extremely dirty, but that's your job. Just stand there and do nasty things to them with a cannon. And... yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can match that. This one, unfortunately, is going to have to face a couple of them. The Hungarian recruits are going to have to be there. Oh, he's going that way. Are you going to go down the middle? I wonder when I can switch to this. There we go. Switch into that. And we're just going to hammer the guy in the middle. Until the cavalry decide to join in. I can think about maybe just doing this. For now. I guess he's not going to move in. Not yet. Oh, here we go. You are moving over, so you're just going to start firing at you. Maybe get 1 or 2 shots in. Okay. Yeah, he's going for that guy. So we are going to have to move. That's a Crownland recruit. He is going to get charged. Come on. Hold. Hold. Yeah, he's losing a lot. Oh, my morale is shit. Come on. Don't you... yeah, he broke. Okay. Okay, you can go up there and join the fight again. And you can go here. Actually, I'm gonna go... oh my god. You broke! You're Hungarian dammers. And Hungarians, recruits. You were in better cover. And you broke. Bullshit. Who's wavering? That guy is wavering. No, you need to focus. You need to focus on that guy. Yeah, my morale is going up. Oh, shit. Run! Run, buddy! Come on, guys, fight! Oh, shit, he's about to... okay. There we go. Get in there. I can't be everywhere at once. Aha! He's wavering. Good, good. Let's go ahead and get that one shot up a little bit. You can do it. Go charge. He has lower morale than you. Come on, prove me right, Hungarian recruits. Prove me right, yes! He's taking a lot of punishment. His stamina is down. He's wavering. Come on, get up there. Oh, you got a shot off. Good. God, my guys are tired. They're really tired. Leopold did his job, though. He got that. Got him from breaking, but he is taking a pounding. Oh my god. He's not doing so well. That guy's. Yep. Come on, guys. I'm gonna go over to... Let's just fire at him. No, not that. I want you to shoot. Get that shit off. Just fire as fast as you can at him. Can you fire time with this? No, you can't. Finally. That guy got really... Oof. Oof. Easier to kill the Russians than to win over them. Well, that's probably true. Probably true. No question about that. But that was... I really wish I had a cavalry unit. Maybe I should have picked a different setup. Protection. Yeah. I got a lot of experience, though. That's for sure. That is for sure. Maybe I should do some protection there. Not that I really need it, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to keep him back so he doesn't get shot at. So what about I give that to this guy? Big kahuna. I got a bunch to sell, though. Stamina. You're gonna have... Oh, I have already on that one. Cheap bottle of whiskey. Cheap bottle of whiskey. Cowboy. I wanna have a cowboy. Plundered card. Loot 2 civilian items, like a chance of attrition. Escort. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Days are flying by. Let's go talk to the people here. The good people of town. Let's go ahead and sell off some stuff first. Pile of uniforms of people, has some bloodstains and stuff on it. No biggie. No biggie. So we can sell that. And we have 797. Don't have to worry about that. Powder house. 797. It means I can... Running low on provisions for sure. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? A second cannon. Just have a little bit of cannons going on. Well, there's a bunch of stuff you can get. But that gives you an idea. Didn't want to go on for too long here. Just showcasing this stuff. If that's interesting to you, I can certainly make a series out of... Oh, this one would be a nice start. I mean, look at that. Just stamina and veterancy gain. What is that? No. Maybe a cavalry guy. Maybe that. He can get... These two can just start fresh. Why would I pay 9 to 5? One the same with this one. No hidden traits, sister. Master of Command. A battlefield 7-year war simulator of you putting together an army in 3 acts and just leveling up. One thing that I would like to say, though, about this game is that I do wish... Oh, let's go back here. I do wish that once you are done, that you can save a couple of the guys, like some of the officers, some of the units. Let's say for every campaign that you win, you get to save 1 officer of yours and 1 unit of yours. And you don't get to keep the items on it, but everything that you unlocked and all the quality of it, you can bring that into the army instead of one of the units. So, for example, with this one, that if you have, and it has to be this same type too. It can't just be a cavalry unit when you don't have that as an option. But like this one, you can start with your specific musketeer, and then you could start with your officer, your own officer. So not this one, but an officer that you had upgraded in full. And that's the benefit of finishing a campaign, is that you get that 1 officer and 1 unit. And that is a way for you to acquiring things. So you kind of feel like, oh, this is my super unit. This is my great unit. He's gone through everything. I want to bring him. I think that would be a cool thing. Sure, you can unlock all these regiments, as you can see here. There's tons of different regiments that you can unlock that are special, that in the game itself you can come across them. And that's cool too. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wish that there was a unit, a system where you could keep your own unit. I don't necessarily want to keep these. I want to keep using the units that I have unlocked and fought with, and it feels like I have a little bit more of a feeling for. Same with the officers, one that I really unlocked all those cool things, and that can be an officer I bring with me instead of the fresh unit. And it's a way for you to, or like a custom, maybe a custom campaign in that way. But it has the uniforms, the flair, and all that, and all I have to do is just load it into a campaign and kind of push myself a little bit. I think that would be cool. That would be awesome if they could add something like that instead. And then, of course, more armies in the future, something like a Swedish army. I know Sweden participated in the 7-year war, so there is definitely room for it. I think that would be cool. But that's just my own bias, of course. But here you have Master of Command. It's a pretty good game. It has nice depth to it. It's not pretentious. You don't have to spend a ton of time playing the game, getting into it, but it has enough intrigue and there's enough strategy and enough tactics in it that your choices matters as far as how you outfit the unit. And you definitely feel when you start losing stuff. And there's definitely tons of tactical options in it, both for your artillery, positioning, ammo you use, and even your units. Do they have the resilience to withstand a charge? Are they in good cover? Do they have their own cover bonuses? Do they have an officer that's really good? And it really sucks losing officers. Something that happens a lot with cavalry units, unfortunately, because that tend to, be right there. So if that unit gets really mauled, there's a chance that your officer too get... I mean, it was like one campaign that I was working on, I lost 2 cavalry officers, one of those full 5 skills. And then followed, I picked up another one, got some skills on it, and then I lost that guy. That's just life. And that's why I generally keep my officer unit slightly in reserve. Not for cavalry. You want to bring on all of them. But for something like an infantry, it's always good to have a reserve unit. If you have all 4 regiments or 4 slots filled with units, that you have one that sits back a little bit in case one takes a little bit too much damage. You want to pull it back and get some fresh troops in. I don't want to lead necessarily with the one that has the good officer. Sounds a little bit chicken shit, but it's also a matter of safeguarding some of your best units and the officer that adds the most to the actual brigade. But that's it. You have a great day, a fantastic life, great weekend upcoming, nice fall, and as I always say, until we meet again, adieu.